A Midland church pastor is heading to trial after he was arrested and charged with child sex crimes last November.
James Randolph is with Mark Barclay Ministries Living Word Church in Midland. And as TV5's Blake Keller learned, he's not the only one to be arrested and charged with these crimes.
He was my youth pastor for times that I was there. So yes, there was interactions.
Interactions with Mark Barclay Ministries, this longtime Living Word Church member has seen and heard and would like to forget.
They would use their pulpit for a platform to silence people and intimidate them. They'd use scripture like Psalms 105:15, touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm.
We aren't identifying this person over their fears of retaliation by the ministry. They say they grew up here, and when they could, they left the church and the religion.
The leading point of just seeing the things that weren't adding up.
On November 28th, 2023, 57-year-old minister James Randolph was charged with several felonies. And we learned from our interview, James is Mark Barclay's son-in-law.
I was reading a verse this morning.
We were then provided video of a sermon from Mark Barclay. The longtime church member says they're close to an alleged victim and believes the speech is directed towards them.
I prayed for the people who are attacking our family with so many weird and wild, false, down and dirty, accusations. Some will probably die. I don't know. I hope not. That's why I prayed.
I think my biggest concern is just for the victims.
In district court, TV5 learning the alleged victim was often at the Randolphs, so she started living with them at their first Midland County home around 2012 when she was in 6th grade. That's when she says incidents with James would start. In most cases, she says she'd wake up to him touching her.
It would just be either touching me, it would just be touching my arms or touching my breasts. There was another time where I had woken up, his hands, they were touching my thigh, and they had moved up to touch my private area. When I would wake up, he would say like he was in there checking on me or he had heard a noise.
The Randolphs moved to another Midland house when the alleged victim was 15 and says the incidents continued until 2018. That's when she moved out. She says she thought no one would ever believe her.
James was a minister. He was my youth pastor. I grew up with him in children's church, and my parents, they trusted him.
Randolph's case was sent to circuit court February 5th, charged with the following: 2 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 4 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct. We reached out to Mark, but got his son Josh instead, who says in a statement to TV5 on behalf of his dad and the ministry, the church never got complaints about Randolph. He says, quote, "We are praying for everyone affected, and that the church takes seriously our responsibility to ensure the safety of our congregation. We have been fully transparent to our congregation, and our church remains strong." Randolph has been placed on administrative leave during the judicial process.
I don't know if anything really would have taken place, per se, there, but I can't deny anything, but I can't confirm anything.
Is that correct? The house when you were living there?
James Randolph is being represented by attorney Nicole Blank Becker. They declined an interview but sent TV5 this, saying, quote, "As the attorney representing Mr. Randolph, who is facing charges of criminal sexual conduct, I must emphasize he maintains his innocence. These allegations are deeply troubling and have caused significant distress for both my client and his family. My client has dedicated his life to serving as a minister, providing guidance, support, and care within our community. We believe in his integrity and trust that justice will prevail." They're asking for privacy going forward.
But TV5 learning that Randolph has prior convictions out of Jackson County. Through a criminal record history search, TV5 learned Randolph spent about 10 years in prison. These Michigan State Police documents and confirmation from the Michigan Department of Corrections shows that Randolph went to prison December 1983 until August 1984 after being convicted of assault less than murder.
After being paroled, he went back to prison December 1984 until June 1993 after being convicted of third-degree criminal sexual conduct. Corrections says he was discharged from parole in 1995. We asked his attorney about those convictions, but she didn't reply. Randolph isn't the first person associated with the ministry to be arrested and charged. In July 2023, church elder and volunteer 44-year-old Brandon Saylor was charged with 9 felony sex crimes.
He worked in the nursery, though, and at one point him and his wife were head of the nursery wing.
In a plea agreement, Saylor pleaded guilty to 3 counts of criminal sexual conduct with a kid under 13 years old. 6 other charges were dropped. Midland County Sheriff Myron Green confirms to TV5 Saylor knew his victims. And Josh Barclay tells TV5 Saylor, who passed a background check, was then removed from all his church positions, last working with kids at the church, seldomly in 2016.
Yes, they both, though, were in a position of leadership involving children.
Going forward, what is your hope for this situation and its outcome?
That the kids are protected. Any kids that haven't come forward about being a victim come forward. And that this just stops. Just that the pedophilia stops there.
In Midland, I'm Blake Keller, WNEM, TV5.
Saylor will be sentenced in April and must register as a sex offender with lifetime electronic monitoring. If Randolph is convicted on any charges, he will also have to register as a sex offender, along with lifetime electronic monitoring. Randolph will be in court again on March 26th, and make sure you stay with TV5 for coverage.